So Simone Biles started an X or a Twitter war with Riley Gaines over having the Transformers in the sport of any female sports, and so they had a bunch of back and forth. Simone Biles was trying to say that Riley Gaines looked like a man. I mean, it got pretty personal. And the problem, though, is that the internet's been opened up now over the last, couple of years. And so whereas a few years ago you couldn't say anything against the Transformers online without getting banned, that is gone. So, of course, what do people want to do? They want to say their mind, and they're making up for lost time. So she got roasted. And so now today she has apologized to Riley Gaines for their online fight over the trans-identifying males in women's sports. So this is the Daily Wire. So this is a conservative news outlet, but we're going to use them for the story here. So the Olympic gymnast, they write, is saying that she believes that the current women's sports system is flawed because they don't allow trans-identifying women or males in women's sports. The two athletes clashed on Friday when Biles attacked Gaines, seemingly out of the blue, calling the former University of Kentucky swimmer a sore loser and telling her to bully someone else for her own size, which ironically would be male, implying that Riley Gaines was too tall.
That's racist!
She said today, though, that I have wanted to follow up from my last tweets. I've always believed competitive equity and inclusivity are both essential in sports. The current system doesn't adequately balance these important principles, which often leads to frustration and heated exchanges, and it didn't help for me to get personal with Riley, which I apologize for. Now, Biles claimed that she did not mean to push policies that compromise fairness in women's sports. She said, these are sensitive, complicated issues that I truly don't have the answers or solutions to. Translation, I just spouted off because I felt good to do it, but oops, I didn't really get into it enough, and people are now roasting me online, which is bad for me. She said, but I believe it starts with empathy and respect. I was not advocating for policies that compromise fairness in women's sports, even though she wanted the Transformers in women's sports. She said, my objection is to be singling out children for public scrutiny in ways that feel personal and harmful. Individual athletes, especially kids, should never be the focus of criticism of a flawed system that they have no control over. I believe sports organizations have a responsibility to come up with rules supporting inclusion while maintaining fair competition. We all want a future for sport that is fair, inclusive, and respectful. Although I would argue that many people on the right do not want those things. They would rather have it segregated from boys and girls. Now, the Daily Wire goes on to write that Biles had initially responded to a post from Gaines last week, criticizing the high school girls softball team that won a state championship after the team's trans-identifying male pitcher pitched 5 straight games in which he gave up just 1 run, meaning he crushed the female competition. And so, the Olympian, Gaines, mad about Riley's post about this, told Riley Gaines that she was sick and that all of this campaigning because you lost a race, straight up sore loser. Adding that Gaines should be uplifting the trans community, but instead you bully them. One thing is for sure is no one in sports is safe with you around. And Gaines responded telling Biles that her comments were, quote, disappointing. Boy, that was so nice. Let's see. She said, this is so disappointing. My take is the least controversial take on the planet. Simone Biles, being a male apologist at the expense of a young girl's dreams, didn't have that on my bingo card. Maybe she could compete in a pommel horse and rings in 2028. Which is kind of a dig at the fact that Simone Biles, for all her amazing career, is a quitter who quit on her team when the going got rough. Now, Gaines' 2022 tie with a trans-identifying male swimmer, Leah Thomas, after which Thomas was given the trophy, helped ignite the battle to keep men out of women's sports. And it looks like she has accepted the apology. Let us see what she says here. She said, I accept Simone's apology for the personal attacks, including the ones where she body shamed me, meaning claiming that she looked like a man. I know she knows that what this feels. Oh, that is a dig. I know she knows what this feels like. See, don't blame me, blame the internet. Let's see if they... This was going around the internet. Now, she has said in the past Simone Biles, that, look, I don't care what you say about my body because it wins medals. And it does. She's good at what she does. But, oh, man. This was definitely a dig. Ouch. God damn. What a way to accept an apology. Anyway, she says she's still the greatest female gymnast of all time. A couple of things. Sports are inclusive by nature. Anyone can and everyone should play sports. Competition, on the other hand, and by definition, is exclusive. So the idea of competitive equity is nonsensical. Secondly, the boys are publicly humiliating the girls. To suggest that women and girls must be silent or ignore a boy who is publicly hurting or humiliating them is wrong. You can't have any empathy and compassion for the girls if you are ignoring when young men are harming or abusing them. I am not ashamed to be a voice for the voiceless. And look, culturally we have shifted. The pendulum swing is happening now. The whole trans fight was inevitably going to implode on itself because it inherently was anti-science. And so at some point, it was going to get out of hand and the lunacy was going to catch up to it. Now, I understand being empathetic to people who have certain points of view and who believe they are something that they may or may not biologically be. And that's fine. You live your life the way you want to, as long as you're not hurting other people. I don't care. But from a cultural point of view, from a mainstream point of view, this was always going to be a losing issue at some point, especially once the trans community started pushing themselves into the world of children. When it was adults, nobody cared. But now that it's children, there was the bridge too far, and they are now paying the price. They FA'd and they are FOing right now. Now Gaines finishes up her post saying, lastly, I agree with you, Simone Biles, that the blame is on the lawmakers and leaders at the top. Precisely why I am suing the NCAA and support candidates who vow to stand with women. That is why I joined Donald Trump at the signing of his executive order. I didn't see you there or champion this effort with your platform. Women's sports can't be used as an excuse for girls to center the feelings and validation of men and boys. I welcome you to the fight to support fair sports and a future for female athletes. Little girls deserve the same shot to achieve that you had.